Hi and welcome to the BlindFaith 2020 latest update from here, the headquarters of my TrueNORTH. Now, I've got to be completely honest with you, this is not the video that I was hoping to record today, but I'm sure, having watched the news over the last days and weeks, that you will appreciate everything I now have to share with you. I've been in touch with the venue on a weekly, if not bi-weekly basis for the last 3 or 4 months now, talking about running this event, and then as the lead up towards this event, getting closer and closer to the time, a lot more frequently, to be able to iron out any of the creases to ensure that we've got a really great day of activities packed of information for you, to be able to really make the most of your time spent with us. And obviously, in line with what's been happening with COVID and lockdown, it's been really important to be able to understand as to not only as to what the venue are doing, and don't get me wrong, they've put a lot of time and effort into to try and make sure that they are as COVID safe as possible, but also give consideration to the fact that we've got people coming from all over the UK, including flying in from Ireland, Northern Ireland, to be able to join us for the day, and to look at the impact that not only COVID and the R number, but the likelihood of us being able to run the day that I've always intended to be able to do with you. And it's with a real heavy heart and a lot of deliberation over the weekend that I'm now recording this at midday on Monday the 28th to be able to confirm that we will be postponing BlindFaith 2020. Now, I've got to say straight away that I am so disappointed to be able to have to share this information with you. I can't tell you as to how much time and effort both myself and the team have put into being able to prepare for another great event. And the argument could be said, well, if the venue are still happy to host us, then surely we've got a responsibility to support the industry that's possibly been the most hardest hit, the hospitality and events space, the gig economy as they call it, throughout this crisis. And yet, for those of you who know me and know me well, the very fact that our strapline within the business is the ethical coaching company, I've had to be able to give considerations to how I feel, how my business feels, what it represents, the brand to which we are, and about pursuing this at whatever cost. And the simple fact is that I've made the decision over the weekend based on local lockdowns around the country and the increasing spread of the R number, as so many other people are failing to adhere to the recommendations and regulations that are now in place, that I no longer feel it is applicable or professional to be able to expect you to come and join me for a day on BlindFaith. Now, I know that we would have had a great day together, and I know that we would have all got lots from it. I know that us as individuals and the people booked on the event would have been really considerate with regards to the rules and regulations to which we all now operate under. But the simple fact is that you have to make some difficult decisions in business. And sometimes those decisions aren't the way that you would want them to go. Sometimes external influence impacts the decisions that we are now left to be able to make in business. Now, don't get me wrong, as a soldier, or certainly as an ex-soldier, a veteran of the British Army, there were a number of incidents where we were thrown into an environment, so I'm sure it had been given political consideration with regards to where we were and what, that you might argue that the current environment is a bit of a walk in the park compared to some of the anthrax environments that I've been and seen in my past. But the simple fact is that I should never ever expect anybody else to be able to put themselves in such a place where their safety, or the potential safety of both them and their loved ones and family and also their employees, is put at risk as a result of an action that we've chosen to take. And it's on those grounds that we've made the tough decision to be able to postpone, not cancel, but postpone BlindFaith 2020 until such a time as we feel it's appropriate and applicable to be able to invite you to come back and join us in a safe environment where we can continue with the day. Now, with that in mind, although that the venue have agreed to be able to postpone our membership and our booking with them for up to 12 months is what they've offered us, I will be issuing 100% refunds for any and all monies paid towards this event payable that's been paid directly to my TrueNORTH. I think it's the only fair things to do is to be able to say at this time we don't know as to what the future holds, and we don't know as to when we're likely to be able to review this and to be able to offer it again to you. And as a result of that, I'm not going to expect to hold on to any of your hard-earned cash for time immemorial. So I'll be contacting each and every one of you by email independently over the next 24 hours to be able to determine as to how best I can reimburse you for the investment that you've made in joining us, with the hope that you understand the reasons as to why we've made this tough decision, and that you'll be willing to be able to once again put your blind faith in us as we have in you, in helping to be able to push you and your business and your belief system, your capability, your willingness to be able to learn more about you and what you're capable of doing further. That's all for me from now. I'd love to be able to catch up and perhaps have a one-to-one with you over the phone over the next day or so. I'm sure you can appreciate this afternoon I've got a fair amount to do in order to be able to get this information to you as quickly as possible and to start being able to activate those refunds for those of you who come forward in the email and just confirm as to how best you want me to be able to get that money back to you. So it's a deep apology from my TrueNORTH today. It's never something that as a business owner you want to do, but I think it's the right things to do based on the current environment that we find ourselves, and not to be able to put either you or anybody else at any additional risk to that we already suffer. So thanks very much for now. I look forward to speaking again real soon. Take care.
Yeah, I really don't understand why everybody isn't following the same rules right now. They're very clear, so let's take a minute and let's go over them again. First, you must not leave the house for any reason, unless of course you have a reason, and then you may leave the house. All stores are closed except those that are open, and all stores must close unless of course they need to stay open. This virus is deadly, but don't be afraid of it. It can only kill people who are vulnerable and also those who are not vulnerable. We should stay locked down until the virus stops infecting people. And it will only stop infecting people if enough of us get infected that we build immunity. So it is very important that we get infected and also do not get infected. You should not go to the doctor's office or the hospital unless you have to go there. Unless, of course, you are too sick to go there. This virus has no effect on children except for those children in which it affects. The virus remains active on different surfaces for 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, but in most cases it's days and not hours, and it needs a damp environment or a cold environment that is warm and dry in the air, unless the air is plastic. Schools are closed, so you need to homeschool your children unless you can send them to school because you are not home. If you are at home, you can school your children using various portals and online classrooms unless you have poor internet, more than one child, only one computer, or you are working from home. Baking cakes can be considered math, science, or art. If you are home educating, you can include household chores within their education curriculum. And if you are home educating, you may start drinking at approximately 10 a.m. every day. If you are not home educating children, you may also start drinking at approximately 10 a.m. Masks are useless at protecting you against the virus, but you still need to wear one because it can save lives. And in some cases, it may even be mandatory, but also maybe not. You must not go to work, but you can get another job, at which point you may go to work. Stay home. I don't know how many more celebrities we need to have tell you how important it is to go outside and take care of your mental health. There is no shortage of groceries in the supermarket. There are simply many things missing. You don't need to go buy a bunch of toilet paper, but you should buy some in case you need it. If you are sick, you may go out once you are better, but those in your household, they cannot go out once you are better unless, of course, they need to go out. Animals are not affected by the virus, except for that cat that tested positive in Belgium in February. plus a couple tigers. The number of corona-related deaths will be announced daily, but we don't know how many people are infected because we were only testing those who are almost dead to determine if that's what they will die of. The people who die of corona who are not counted won't or will be counted, but maybe not. To help protect yourself during these times, you should be eating well and exercising, but exercising only eating what you have at home to avoid going to the stores unless you need toilet paper or a fence panel. It's important to get fresh air, but don't go to parks, but do go walk in other places. Just don't sit down unless you are old or pregnant. But if you do sit down, don't sit for too long. Unless you are old and you are pregnant, in which case you need to sit down. But if you do sit down, don't eat unless you've had a long walk, which you are allowed to do if you are old or pregnant, except for times in which you aren't. Don't visit old people, but you have a moral obligation to take care of old people and bring them food and medicine. And finally, no businesses will go down due to coronavirus except those businesses that go down due to COVID-19. I hope this cleared up any questions about what we should and should not be doing during this time. Please educate your friends and family with this information so we can remove any and all confusion surrounding this time. Thank you.